Lower Trestles, the most high-performance A-frame in the world. Located just outside of San Clemente in Southern California, the place has shaped the surfing of America's top surfing talent over the years and is widely regarded as one of the most rippable waves out there. But what's it like to actually surf? I flew to California to find out. So Lowers is as close as you can get to a perfect A-frame peak. The wave is sick, there's no other description for it. But yeah, I feel it's such a fun wave, it almost makes you surf well. You know, the left's fairly short, but still really rippable, and you can get a few turns off on the left. I think the right is a bit longer and a bit of a better wave, a bit steeper, a bit wallier. It does tend to have a bit more of a section in it and kind of close out at the end, whereas I found the left didn't do that as much. So yeah, it's a really, really sick wave. So the crowd at Lowers, I mean, you can't talk about Lower Trestles without mentioning the crowd. The two are synonymous, they just go together. Obviously because it is such a fun, rippable wave, it's in California, and I don't even know where to start in describing it to you. It's just mental. There's obviously such a high volume of people surfing in such a condensed area because of the nature of the takeoff spot. It's obviously an A-frame, so where you take off is just such a small area. There's so many people in such a condensed zone, it makes getting waves really, really tricky. Not only is the volume of surfers really high, the level of surfing is so high. Higher than anywhere else I've been in the world. I don't think anywhere else really compares to it. You've just got so many good surfers, whether it's like professional surfers from that area, you know, Kalohe Andino, Colapinto brothers, so many other good surfers are from there. Good local surfers. One of the things that stood out to me at Trestles was just how many good groms there were. I think like a lot of the time I surfed it, there were 80 to 90% of the lineup were just sponsored homeschooled groms. All with stickers on their board, all hungry for waves, all ripping. So it wasn't great for my wave count, but it was quite cool to see that, you know, that future generation is going to be crazy coming out of there. So just before we move on, thank you to Outsite for sponsoring this video. Now, Outsite have co-work, co-living spaces all over the world. For this trip, I stayed at their Encinitas property down towards San Diego, which put me about a 25-minute drive away from Trestles. Whether it's the United States, Portugal, Bali, Sri Lanka, Outsite has some wicked spaces to base your trip out of, especially if you need to get work done while you're on the move. So if you want to check them out, I'll leave the link down in the description. For now, back to the video. Any half decent wave that comes through at Trestles will have 5 or 6 people all paddling almost on top of each other for it, and then whoever's deepest for each direction will stand up and the other people will sort of peel off the back. But yeah, as you can see in these clips here, this is kind of what happens anytime a good wave comes through. Sometimes if it's a more subpar wave a bit further in, a bit of a smaller one, people overlook it because they're waiting for the better ones. But when it's that crowded and there's that many people, basically anything that trickles through the lineup, you're gonna have people scrambling for it. I found that sometimes there is a little bit of confusion. So sometimes someone will be paddling for the wave and then the person next to them doesn't go because they think they're going to catch it, but then that person doesn't catch it. So then you can quickly like spin around and like tee off those mistakes, and that's quite a good way to get waves. Just always be in that bit, like ready to pounce and ready to go. One thing I did notice at Trestles, like the wave does kind of let you in though. It kind of like peaks up at the back and like seems like it's like backing off, but then it just breaks and you can kind of catch it from quite far out. So yeah, sometimes you're like, oh, no chance they're catching that, and you go to go and then they're like just zooming past you, so you're like, what? So yeah, as you saw in the footage there, like I definitely wasn't on any of the best waves. I was just picking off scraps. I mean, scraps at Trestles are still really, really good waves. I still had pretty fun surfs, but I was basically nowhere near any of the sets because they were so sought after by the rest of the lineup. You know, I basically didn't even get a look in. The crowd always kind of changing out there as well. Sometimes it's just so condensed and so competitive. Just if it's a really good day and it's like the weekend or whatever, it's just crazy. There's just this one morning where the waves were pumping. It's like 4 or 5 foot and just so clean, perfect. But it was a Sunday morning and it was right before an NSA contest. So all the Groms are in town from all over California for that. Everyone was off work. It was just mental. It was just hectic. I mean, I never felt like the vibe was that bad out there. It's just more really competitive and really like, yeah, you've just got to compete so hard for waves. I found generally most of the time I was there, the mornings was more of like an adult crowd, and even though it was busier by the number of people in the lineup, it was easier to get waves during that morning session than it was in the afternoons. I surfed it a few afternoons where it's a bit windier, a bit more onshore, but it was all just Groms in the lineup mostly. It's pretty hectic. They're really hungry for waves. They're always like paddling around you, catching whatever comes through. But I'd almost prefer that than being in a lineup where it's like all adults and it's really like localized and really aggressive, because it's a lot nicer for like an 8-year-old girl to call you off a wave than it is for like an angry like old man, you know? So I found like it was never that bad a vibe, but it was just really hard to catch anything good. But yeah, from first light, I find like you can never beat the crowd at dawn because everybody dawnies and everyone's on that pre-work surf. Everyone's just trying to get a few, you know, before school. It's when the wind's usually best, so it's like the best time to surf. But I found for crowd-wise, it was probably better to wait until the wind came up and then go surfing. But generally all day you've got people coming down and surfing, and it never really thins out. I think the only time you can really get it slightly less crowded is if it's really bad. If it's like a lot smaller and really like south wind or just onshore, you can get it with a few less people and the wave obviously isn't as good, but it still kind of does the same thing. So yeah, I found with the more adult crowd there was a little bit like slightly more mutual respect between surfers, but when it's everyone or when the Groms are involved, it's just not like that. It's a crazy scene down there as well. Everyone's got these e-bikes now, so everyone can get down there really quickly from San Clemente. You've got like 100 e-bikes parked on the sandbank there, and then you've got all of like the parents and like sponsors all filming on the beach. And in terms of how to get waves out there, I've got no advice on that really, apart from maybe to just go and surf T Street down the road or something. I found, yeah, trying to sit a bit further in is kind of the only way to get it, I suppose, but because everyone's taking off in that same bit, it's still pretty hard to get waves then. And then because it's such a rippable wave and the level's so high, people don't fall. It's not like somewhere like Snapper where the wave is can be really sucky and there's sections that are really fast and it's quite hollow and people nosedive, or they're more likely to not make the section, so people fall a lot more. At Trestles that doesn't seem to happen, so there's way less room for like actually catching waves and teeing off of those mistakes. But sometimes, yeah, I got a few waves just sitting a little bit further like under the pack, and the odd one just slips through and you get a few fun waves that way. But yeah, generally it was quite frustrating. You had to surf for quite a few hours to get your fix. Obviously, if you're from there and you're local, you know you're the wave and you've got a bit more lineup authority, it's like a little bit of a different story. But me as like a visiting nobody, it's a bit different. So yeah, you just have to be in that certain mindset out there, and it's really mentally exhausting after you've been surfing it for a few days. So quite often I'd have a morning surf out there, or like just one surf a day out there, and then like my second surf or like the next day I'd just go and surf T Street or just surf one of the more spread out waves down the road. So this video is obviously focusing on lower trestles, but trestles actually describes like an area of different waves. So you've got lower trestles, next to it you've got upper trestles, then the other side of it you've got church, and there's a few other waves just like in the near vicinity. They're all pretty fun waves. Uppers is pretty fun, but they're all still quite crowded. But lowers is by far the best shaped wave. So it's just a perfect A-frame, and there's a reason that's more crowded, and there's a reason that the best surfers usually always surf out there. And you have to walk to trestles, unlike lots of places in California where the highway's right there and you just pull off and you go into this massive like 100 space car park. You have to work for it a little bit more to get to trestles. You have to walk down this trail, although now everyone has e-bikes, so they just whiz down there on that, and it's kind of, you don't have to walk anymore, but it's quite nice to walk. It's kind of in this like wetland reserve, so you just about get away from the highway, and for California it's quite a nice escape from, you know, all the concrete. But yeah, it's like a 20-minute walk, and as you're walking down you kind of walk up this hill before you turn down and go over the train tracks, and you get a glimpse of the wave, and it's really exciting. You know, you get to see it for the first time. You just do perfect A-frames, 100 people out there, and you just go, oh my god, it's perfect wave. And even though it's so busy, you're just like in a hurry to get there and just, yeah, try and get one or two. So like quite a lot of reefs in California, when you walk out to paddle out, you walk over all of these cobbles which seem to be covered in this really slippery seaweed. So when you first get out there, you've got really slimy, grimy feet, so it makes your first few waves really slippery. So it's a good idea just to rub a bit of wax on the tops of your feet, or take a bit of wax out in your wetty with you, and then you can re-wax or wax your feet once you get out there. It doesn't always seem to work, but it's definitely worth doing, because sometimes, you know, you might get a wave straight away, but then you blow it because you just slip off, and when the wave count's already low, you don't want to blow waves just because of something stupid like that. So Trestles has actually had a really interesting history, and I'm going to do a full deep dive on it, because it used to be part of a military zone and it was actually off limits like back in the day, and then there's been loads of other events in its history, lots of controversies and things like that. So stay tuned for that video. I'm working on it right now, so yeah, I can't wait to share that one with you. So yeah, that is my breakdown of Trestles. Obviously it's a world-renowned wave. Yeah, you guys let me know of your experiences out there. It's obviously just a different scenario to most waves. It's just so competitive, so crowded, but if you can get one, it is just the perfect canvas. I guess one day we can hopefully just make loads of wave pools that just resemble Trestles, and we can have like a Trestles in every town. That would be sick. So yeah, we're stoked to get to surf Trestles and meet a few of you. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. And I'm going to do another video as well where I break down some of the most hectic lineups I've ever surfed. So stay tuned for that. Thanks to Outside for my stay. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.